Alright, this next video is an introduction to Outwit Hub. So we're going to go over here after you've installed Outwit Hub and click on our little Outwit button. It brings up Outwit Hub, and if you notice, the first thing that it brings up is going to be the page that you start out on. So if you're starting out on the Firefox homepage, that'll be the first one that comes up. So you can see that it's just like a regular web page. Now there's a couple of little tweaks that we want to do just before we get started. First of all, we want to come up into Tools, to Preferences, and to Time Settings, and we're going to change the times that it takes to actually load a page. I believe I've already changed mine. I believe they're 25 seconds. So you want about 15 seconds each. And the rest of these you can pretty much leave alone and then just close that out. That limits the amount of time that it spends on the web page. Of course, the way that they've changed it, it doesn't really make too much difference, but that just makes it so that it doesn't spend too much time browsing the web pages while it's getting the information. The next thing we're going to want to do is come up here to Page and right-click, and you want to have Ignore Images, Ignore Plugins, and Disable JavaScript checked. Now another thing that you also want to do is in Firefox, you're going to want to get a plugin. Let's see, we'll go to Tools and Add-ons. Of course, that's in actual Firefox. If you go to Tool and Add-ons, what you want to get is Flash Block. What it does is it stops all flash on your browser, and then when that's in and installed, it leaves a little picture with a flash on there, and what it does is it blocks all the flash advertisements that come up, and it speeds up your searches quite a bit. So I would recommend getting that, and then making sure that these are all checked so it doesn't get images, plugins, or JavaScript, because that's going to slow your searches down too. Right now you can get about a name every 5 or 6 seconds, which, you know, it goes through some names pretty quick. So if you do that, you're going to save yourself a lot of time. Alright, so now what we're going to do is this will be kind of a run through on the different things that that we're going to be working on. So first, we're going to be gathering, obviously, data. So in the data section, the most important that we have is the scraped section. You'll be looking at that, and we'll have to do a couple of modifications. We can see some names that we got on another search, and I'll show you how to do all the checks and what you need to do with that. And then the automators right here is where all of our searching begins. So first of all, we have our scrapers. And what that does is we have 3 different types of scrapers for 3 different types of information. And the first one we're going to make is going to be a street name scraper. And that gives us all the street names. Once we get the street names, then we make a query. And when we make a query, it's going to give us everything that we need to search. The macros, what that does is it sets up a way for the computer to use a query and a scraper in order to get the information we need. And then when we get further in, we have these jobs. You can see the jobs that I have set up that I haven't erased yet, but we can go ahead and get rid of those and do Shift and Delete, and that gets rid of those. Anyway, so we can make jobs that run the macros, that run the queries, that run the scrapers, and what that does is it gets all our information. It sounds kind of complicated and technical, but really after you get used to it, it's just a process. So in the next video, we're going to go ahead and set up our first scraper to scrape the streets, and then what that'll let us do is get our information that we need to go ahead and start scraping names for our telephone territory.